Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In this session, we are going to discuss about National Vocational Education Qualification Framework. In fact, this National Vocational Education Qualification Framework has been recently evolved by our central government and it is now in the process of being implemented. So, let me tell you what all are we going to cover in this session. We will be basically covering first, why do we need National Vocational Education Qualification Framework in today's context. Secondly, we will be talking about what all variety of qualifications are going to be offered under National Vocational Education Qualification Framework. Thirdly, we will also be discussing how is it going to be implemented or how is it going to be made operational in the country. And when we are talking of a system which is going to be operational all throughout the country, naturally there are many challenges, there are many problems. So, in this session we will also be talking about the problems which are likely to be encountered in implementation of National Vocational Education Qualification Framework. So, let us get started now. Before I talk about NVEQF, it is important for all of us to understand the Indian employment scenario. Now, when we look at India's employment scenario, we all are aware of 55% of our workforce is largely engaged in agriculture and allied activities, and that is where they get their livelihood from. Another 28% of workforce is engaged in service sector, and service sector nowadays is catching up not only in India, also in other countries. So, 28% people they depend upon service sector, and remaining 17% of our workforce that is engaged in industry sector. With regard to contribution of these three sectors, contribution of agriculture, services and industry, I would like to share with you in terms of GDP. Our agriculture sector right now contributes only 17% of the total GDP, another 55% is contributed by the service sector, and industry sector contributes only 28% of the total GDP. Now, there are a few other realities which we got to understand and something which is happening in our country. Given the present rate of urbanization in our country, it is anticipated that 46% of our population would be living in urban areas by the year 2030, and this 46% as per the projections made by our policy formulators or planners. So, this amounts to 634 million people. So, this much number of people they will be living in urban areas. Then we are also aware, when we talk of Indian economy, there are typical problems associated with Indian economy, and in India most of our workforce, particularly those who work at lower level, they suffer from lower individual productivity, and we have much less opportunities for employment for our masses. And when we talk of individual income per capita income of people is also very low as compared to many other developed and developing countries. Now, in addition to these realities, we also got to take stock of our school education system. At present, almost 2 crore people they join the school education system every year. The unfortunate thing is, by the time the student reach the 12th standard, that is the school terminal stage. So, by the time student reach the 12th standard, 62% of them they turn out to be dropouts, and these dropout people they tend to pick up any kind of petty jobs, because they are not well trained, and naturally because they do not possess any kind of specialized skill. So, they tend to get exploited and they get very meager wages and salaries. Now, in light of these developments, or in light of the kind of scenario which prevails in our country now, though our government is very serious about it, and they have tried to study the present education system, and they have also taken stock of the total workforce in the country, and they are now in the process of developing a national vocational qualification framework. Now, under this national vocational qualification framework, it is hoped that four type of workers or workforce is going to be trained. In fact, in our present economy, you see, in conventional going by the conventional thinking, we used to only talk about white collar and blue collar worker, but now the market realities are changing, and the kind of workforce required in the country in days to come, that also is changing. And in days to come, rather than having just these two categories, white collar and blue collar, we are going to have four categories of people, and these four category of people would include, first of all, rust collar workers. So, in days to come, we would be needing large number of rust collar workers. Let me explain you what do we really mean by rust collar worker. Rust collar worker are basically the grassroots level workers. No doubt they are skilled, but then they are the kind of people who usually get exploited, and they are the kind of people who do have skills, but their skills do not really get much recognized, and they continue to be paid very little wages. The example could be rust collar worker you will find working in, say, agriculture sector. They are also found working in construction sector. Example could be, say, people engaged in breaking stone. When we construct roads, so large number of people are required for breaking stone. So, people involved in such like professions, and those whose services are not fully recognized, and those who are paid somewhat less, they are the kind of people who are put under the category of rust collar workers. So, such like workers, they will continue to be in demand. So, this is one category of people which Indian economy would require. Then the second category of people is blue collar workforce. Now, blue collar workforce, basically they are the people who are they are also skilled, but they are usually paid on hourly basis. So, you will find blue collar workers working in industry, organized sector. They also work in commerce, business, trade, construction, hospitality sector, and so many other sectors. So, but the only difference between the rust collar worker and blue collar worker is, so rust collar workers, there are no hard and fast rules with regard to their compensation, but as regard blue collar worker, they get paid on hourly basis, and hourly basis naturally they can be converted into day basis and then monthly basis, etc. Then the third category is, in fact this is yet another emerging category. The third category is your grey collar workforce. This grey collar workforce is nothing but they are the people who basically work in any knowledge economy, and as we all are aware, we are passing through information and communication technology, and our economy is also slowly becoming a knowledge economy, and in any knowledge economy you would definitely need large number of grey collar worker. When we talk of this grey collar worker, they are basically, you can say, these are the people who are information, communication and IT savvy people. So, these people, they are reasonably good in intelligence, they are reasonably analytical in their approaches, they are good in communication, and they are usually found to be working in almost all sectors of Indian economy. So, they are what is known as grey collar workers, and number of grey collar worker also is going to their demand is going to pick up in days to come. Then fourth and final category is your white collar workforce, and white collar workforce we all are aware of, they are nothing but people like doctors, lawyers, engineers, architect, planners, administrators, and these people also are found to be working in almost all sectors of Indian economy. So, in days to come, these are the four different kind of workers which Indian economy is going to need. Then keeping in view the kind of manpower required by India in days to come, or policy formulators, they have evolved a framework called National Vocational Education Qualification Framework. In fact, this total responsibility was assigned to All India Council for Technical Education. The All India Council for Technical Education, which is the apex body for making and maintaining the norms for technical education in the country, has framed a national vocational education qualification framework for the polytechnic system and engineering college system. The framework would link school vocational and university education qualification into one national system. In fact, till recently what was really happening is, school system used to be working totally in isolation. Polytechnic and engineering college system was also working in isolation. There was hardly much of interaction taking place. And when we talk of craftsman education, basically the education imparted in through Industrial Training Institute. So, this system was basically under the control of Ministry of Labour and is still under the control of Ministry of Labour. But the fact was, these three systems were almost operating in isolation. So, the proposed National Vocational Qualification Framework, it tries to bring the three systems together, and that is how the qualifications are going to be offered in days to come. Now, I would like to discuss with you the salient features of the framework. The framework is going to work across all sectors of Indian economy. The Indian economy, some people categorize it in 20 to 30 sector. There are other ministries and other individual planners who say there are more than 50 to 60 different sectors of Indian economy. But whatever be the number of sectors, this system is going to cover all sectors of the Indian economy, and it is going to offer program accordingly for all sectors. Then the program which are going to be offered under NVEQF, these programs would be of short duration. They are going to be focused program, and they are going to be modular in nature. So, short duration, focused and modular program would be offered under National Vocational Qualification Framework. Once the courses are completed by the students, by the beneficiaries, then there would be some services provided with regard to getting these students placed in different sectors of economy. Whatever programs are planned to be offered under NVEQF, these programs are going to be offered in local languages. Program are very flexible. The program could be full day duration, they could be half day duration, or if some organization so desires or there is a need from the participants, the program could even be a weekend program. So, these would be the mode of delivery. Then a recognition of prior learning. See, ours is a very vast country, there are lot many people who are highly skilled, there are traditional skills available in our country, but the problem is there again there is no recognition of these skills, and a person who is traditionally practicing the skill may be far more skilled as compared to a person who is trained in ITI or who is trained in Polytechnic or in any other system. But the difference is the one who has picked up skills on his own, so his or her skills do not get recognized. So, the new system of NVEQF is going to recognize the skills of the people who are already available in our economy, contributing to various sectors of our economy. So, there would be a system evolved with the help of which the person would be in a position to get his skills assessed, and accordingly those skills are going to be certified. And once the skills are certified, then naturally the person would be in a position to contribute more and would be in a position to move up in hierarchy, and naturally his or her earnings will also go up. Then building pathways for international recognition, this is also very important feature of this system. In fact, many of our qualifications, they are not equated with qualifications available in other developed countries and developing countries. So, the qualification which are going to be offered under NVQF, they will have linkages and they will have equivalence with the qualifications offered nationally and internationally. Now, as regard delivery of training, the training could be delivered through a network of centers that could include technical and non-technical schools and colleges, industry centers, training organizations and service providers. In addition, for practical training, laboratories of industry could be used as training centers for skill enhancement wherever required. In fact, what is going to happen under this National Vocational Education Qualification Framework? So, whatever is to be taught to a student who wants to go for a particular vocation, the entire syllabus is going to be divided in two parts. Part 1 would be nothing but it will be known as vocational education, and part B would be known as vocational skills. Now, as regards vocational education would be imparted by the institution wherever the student gets enrolled, and as regard the vocational skill part has to be necessarily picked up by the student by way of getting training in industry itself, or if it is service center, so maybe by way of getting training in a service center. So, that is how the training is going to be made operational. Now, coming to the assessment part of it, till recently what was happening in our country is, especially when we talk of non-formal skill development, a training institution imparts skill to a person and the same institutions tries to certify the skill. This is what is happening in informal training being imparted by large number of organizations, NGOs and different companies. But under the NVEQF, training and assessment, they are going to be delinked, and I am of the opinion the moment training and assessment they get delinked, so naturally the seriousness gets injected in the system. When the trainer knows someone else is going to assess the someone else is going to assess the skill, so naturally the trainer tries to impart the best skill and trainee also becomes serious. So, under the new proposed system, so training and assessment they have been delinked and there would be two parallel system working for it. So, training system would only impart skill and the assessment system they would only evaluate the performance of the student, and then maybe either the board of technical education or school board or maybe university they will award the certificate or any qualification. Then assessment to be made by experts in competency based assessment. See, here the new concept of competency based assessment has been introduced. Experts would be identified, they would be registered with the AICT and they are the one who would be really authorized to carry on assessment work. Now, before evolving the National Vocational Education Qualification work, lot of efforts had gone in it, and before evolving the system, the task was given to our policy planners to undergo and to study the similar prevailing systems elsewhere, particularly in developing and developed countries. So, before evolving this system, vocational education and training system of Australia, this was one system which was studied in detail. In fact, under vocational education and training system of Australia, the vocational education is provided at 4 levels, level 1, level 2, level 3 and level 4. So, this system was studied in detail and the idea was to pick up all good things from this system and then try to incorporate those things in our own system. Then another system which was studied was New Zealand Vocational Education Framework. Now, in New Zealand they offer vocational skill from level 1 to 7. So, their system vocational education was also studied in detail. Then the third system which was studied and consulted was Sri Lankan Vocational Education Framework. In Sri Lanka again they have vocational skills available at level 1 to level 7. And finally, our policy formulator they had a in-depth study of vocational and credit framework of United Kingdom. In UK, vocational skills are offered at 3 levels and it is all credit based. In fact, what happens in UK, people keeps on earning credits. If somebody earns say 1 to 12 credits, so this person is given an award. If a person earns credit somewhere in the range of 13 to 36, so one has earned 36 credits, so then the person is given a certificate of a particular skill, and in case one crosses this threshold limit of 36 credit, one acquires 37 credits or more, so then naturally one becomes eligible for getting diploma in a particular skill. And here I would like to make a mention, 1 credit represents 10 hours of learning time. So, these systems were studied before evolving our own framework. Now, I would like to discuss with you as to how this proposed framework is going to work in school education system, in polytechnic education system, and thereafter in university education system. How is it the linkages have been established and how is it the equivalence has been established. Let us get started with the lowest level, that is our say level 1. We start from here. Level 1 is nothing but it is going to be inbuilt in 9th standard of school education. So, we start from level 1. So, this is nothing but 9th standard. So, here vocational education level 1 is going to be built in the syllabus of 9th standard. Then from 9th one moves on to 10th standard, that is secondary school grade 10, and from grade 10 then one gets into say 10 plus 1, that is your higher secondary school grade 11. Now, this is one system. In fact, we are taking it as 2 cases. We are considering here 2 cases, one is case 1, another one is case 2. Case 1 basically explain as to how a student is going to move say from 9th standard onwards up to diploma level, and in case 2 we are going to make a student experience transition from school education system to the university education system and ultimately becoming a graduate. So, here these 2 systems have been compared. So, here naturally grade 1 level 1 of skill is going to be inbuilt in 9th standard, level 2 of skill is going to be inbuilt in 10th standard, and same thing is happening here in case of case 2. But then when it comes to, now we take this person to say this thing higher secondary grade 12, that is 12th year of schooling. So, here NVQ level 4 is inbuilt, and naturally the qualification is going to be awarded by the school system. Now, after matriculation, because the basic qualification entry qualification for diploma level of program is matriculation. So, after matriculation when we talk of case 1, under case 1 a matriculate gets into diploma, and here when a person gets in diploma, so naturally he gets into first year of diploma program, and along with first year of diploma this person is going to be taught level 3 of vocational education. Now, when it comes to second year of diploma, so level 4 of vocational skill is also going to be imparted, and by the time the student complete 3-year diploma program, that is the final year. So, the student is imparted 5th level of vocational skill. Now, under case 2 we have talked about up to level 4, that school education system. Now, entry qualification, as we all are aware, entry qualification for getting into any university or any college is +2. Now, having done +2, this person, if this person wants to pursue vocational qualification, so the person is going to get into first year of university degree. So, naturally vocational degree first year, this is equal to BA first year or BCom first year or BSc first year, okay, and ultimately certification is going to be done by the university. Then this person, when this person studies in first year of 3-year degree program, so this person is going to be imparted level 5 of skill, and when the person gets into second year of university qualification, so he is going to be taught level 6 level 6 of skill, and when it comes to final year of degree program, so level 7 is going to be inbuilt in the degree program. So, this is how in both these streams are going to go ahead. Now, we proceed further. Now, the proposed framework is explained, in fact, as I referred to earlier, the proposed framework is going to be offered with the help of schools. They could be school boards, it could be maybe CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education, or it could be even National School of Open Schooling, NIOS. So, when it comes to school education, naturally we all are aware of school education is it goes up to 12th standard, and vocational input is going to be started from 9th onwards. So, in terms of NVQ equivalence, level 1 of skill is going to be inbuilt in 9th standard, level 2 of vocational skill, when we talk of school education system, it is going to be inbuilt in class 10, and level 3 of vocational skill would be imparted in class 11, and level 4 is inbuilt in syllabus of 12th standard. Now, these qualifications they may be imparted by any school board. This is what is proposed. Now, when it comes to polytechnic system, naturally as I referred to earlier, entry qualification for polytechnic is matriculation, and by the time the student completes matriculation, the person or that student would have already acquired level 1 and level 2 of vocational skills. Now, if you have a student who is with vocational background and further wants to continue with vocational stream, so this person gets into polytechnic, first year of polytechnic, and this first year of polytechnic will have level 3 of vocational skills inbuilt. Now, when this person gets into second year of diploma program, then level 4 is going to be inbuilt here. Alternatively, when one studies 11th and 12th standard, so level 3 and level 4 are inbuilt there, right. Now, by the time the student reaches the final year of polytechnic 3-year diploma, so level 5, this person is going to study level 5 of skill. Now, when a person is following the polytechnic stream, and there are avenues, one may go for advanced diploma or higher diploma, which is usually of 2-year duration. So, if it is the case of advanced diploma and one still wants to continue with vocational skills, so level 6 is going to be built in the first year of advanced diploma, and level 7 is going to be inbuilt in second year of advanced diploma. So, that is where, in fact, when we talk of polytechnic system, so vocational education is going to terminate at level 7. There is no scope for going beyond level 7 so far as polytechnic system is concerned. But when it comes to university system, well, there are avenues and one can even continue with vocational subjects even beyond graduation. So, let us now come to the university system. Now, we all are aware for getting into any university degree, so 10 plus 2 is the entry qualification. So, 10 plus 2 would mean if a person has come through the vocational stream, this person would have already attended level 1, level 2, level 3 and level 4 of vocational courses. So, any university degree, if there is a vocational course inbuilt in that, so it would start from level 5. So, when a person gets into first year of 3-year university degree course, so level 5 is going to be inbuilt there. When it comes to second year of university degree, so level 6 is going to be built in, and final year of university degree, that is 3-year degree course, so level 7 is going to be inbuilt here. Now, the same person, if this person wants to go for postgraduate studies, so there again vocational subjects are going to be made available to him or her. So, PG first year would have provision of building in level 8 of skill, and final year of PG degree, that second year of PG degree will have level 9 inbuilt in it. So, that is where the vocational skill is going to get terminated. So, one can go right from 9th standard 2 postgraduate degree and 9 level of skills, that is level 1 to level 9, they are inbuilt in the system. Now, I would like to give you little input in terms of total contact hours, how much one has to study vocational subjects and to what extent one has to study the academic subjects. So, here we will discuss right from level 1 to level 7. Now, when we are talking about level 1, which is the lowest level of skill, so here as I referred to earlier, the total content which the student has to undergo in a year, so that is estimated to be of a duration of roughly 1000 hours. Okay. And here the basic philosophy is, as a student moves from lowest level of skill to the highest level of skill, so the content of vocational input keeps on increasing. At the lowest level of skill, the content of vocational skill is minimum and academic inputs are highest, and as one moves up from level 1 to say level 7, so in case of level 7, so the input of vocational skill is going to be much higher as compared to the academic inputs. So, let us go level by level. In case of level 1, so 200 to 300 of vocational inputs and 700 to 800 academic inputs, this is what is going to be taught to the students. So, this is going to be inbuilt in school system. And when we talk of level 2, because 9th and 10th same subjects one has to study, so accordingly these hours have also been kept accordingly. So, 200 to 300 hours under level 2 here and 700 to 800 hours of academic inputs, this is what a student is going to study over a period of 1 year. Now, when a student gets into say 11th standard and one is following this vocational stream, so at that stage during 11th and 12th, the student would be given vocational input, which again will comprise of vocational education and vocational skills. So, this would be of a duration of 300 to 400 hours in 11th standard and 300 to 400 hours again in 12th standard. And as regards academic inputs, so academic inputs here gets reduced from 700 to 800 hours to 600 to 700 hours, and again same number of hours one has to study in during the 12th standard. Now, let us see what happens at level 5. Now, when a student gets at level 5, this student is going to study 400 to 500 hours of vocational input and another 500 to 600 hours of academics. At level 6, vocational inputs further go up and the student is going to study 500 to 600 hours of vocational input, and academic hours would be restricted to 400 to 500. At level 7, vocational inputs further go up and there would be input of vocational in the range of 600 to 700 hours, and academic input is going to be restricted to 300 to 400 hours. When it comes to level 8 and level 9, there are not going to be any inputs in terms of academics. The student is required to study roughly around 1000 hours of vocational every year. So, this is how the vocational and academic hours are spread. Now, we will see what all specializations are available under different sectors, and here what we are trying to tell you is, you see Indian vocational qualification framework is in place now, and here I am taking example of a few sectors, and I am then going to tell you when it comes to school education system or polytechnic education system or university education system, under which particular stream these specializations are going to fall. So, right now 5 specialized courses have been planned under automobile sector. These courses include engine testing, vehicle quality, then auto electricals and electronics, farm equipment and machinery. All these courses are going to be taught under the science stream. Now, we have another sector named entertainment. under entertainment sector, there are basically 4 specializations planned at present. These 4 specializations include theatre and stagecraft, contemporary western dance, then theatre studies, and finally acting. All these courses will fall under arts stream in any school system. Then under information technology, right now there is only one course identified, one specialization identified, and it has been named as software development. This will go under the science stream. Under communication sector, there again only one course has been identified. This course is named as mobile communication, and this will also go to science stream. Under economics and finance, there are 5 specialized courses planned right now. These courses include retail, banking, financial planning, financial services, and logistics. All these courses are going to be offered under the commerce stream. Under agriculture sector, we have 5 courses specializations identified. These 5 specializations include farm machinery and power engineering, greenhouse technology, renewable energy, processing and food engineering, soil and water conservation, and all these courses are going to fall under science stream. Under construction sector, only one specialization is identified till today, and this specialization is in the area of building technology. This will fall under the science stream. Under applied arts sector, there are 4 courses planned right now. These specializations are fashion technology, interior design, jewelry design, and apparel design. All these courses will belong to arts stream. Under travel and tourism, tourism is the only specialization identified so far, and this will fall under commerce stream. Under printing and technology sector, the specialization identified has been named as printing technology, and this also goes to science stream. Finally, we have paramedical and healthcare sector. Under this sector, in fact 12 specializations have been identified. These specializations are cardiology, neurology, radiography, emergency medical services, laboratory, operation theatre, optometry, then medical record science and health information, endoscopy, anesthesia and critical care, renal dialysis, blood bank, and all these 12 courses are going to fall under the science stream. So, this is how the sector, specialization and available general content have been classified. Now, we will take example of 3 sectors, and we will then see as to how the transition is going to take place from lowest level of skill to the highest level of skill, and for the purpose of highest level of skill we are limiting ourselves to level 7 here. So, I am taking example of 3 sectors: automobile sector, media and entertainment sector, and information technology, and just one specialization has been considered. The idea is to demonstrate as to how this transition is going to be experienced by the beneficiary. So, under automobile sector we have engine testing specialization, under media and entertainment we have theatre and stagecraft, and under information technology software development is one of the identified specialization. Now, let us first take automobile. What all is going to be taught under engine testing specialist? Here at level 1, so technician two-wheeler, all subjects pertaining to technician two-wheeler are going to be studied. Then at level 2, technician three-wheeler inputs would be taught. At level 3, engine technician four-wheeler. So, it is little advanced course. At level 4, engine technician, then engine technician again gets repeated at level 5, and at level 7 engine testing technician, this is what is going to be taught, and at level 7 engine testing specialist. So, finally, after undergoing these 7 courses, so the fellow who opts for vocational stream under automobile sector, so the person then becomes engine testing specialist. Now, let us talk about media and entertainment sector. Under media and entertainment sector, as I have already mentioned, theatre and stagecraft is the area of specialization. So, at level 1 this person has to study art, painting and theatre. Then at level 2 this person studies theatre analyst skill. Then at level 3 painting and basic acting, at level 4 stagecraft, at level 5 the student studies set designer, at level 6 set designer and portfolios, this is what is going to be taught, and finally at level 7 set construction. So, subjects pertaining to set construction are going to be taught. Now, when it comes to information technology, here the available specialization is software development, and let us see how the transition takes place from lowest level of skill to the highest level of skill. At level 1 this person is going to be taught computer operators course. At level 2 again computer operators course is repeated, little advanced course here. Then level 3 computer, and at level 4 business productivity specialist / author / content developer. So, this is what is going to be taught, and at level 5 business productivity specialist, author / content developer. This is what is going to be taught at level 5, and at level 6 software project management / team member software development. So, inputs pertaining to this subject will be given, and finally at level 7 systems administrator, all subjects pertaining to systems administrator are going to be taught, and then this person becomes software developer. So, this was the comparison of 3 sectors. Now, we move on to the next part. Now, with a view to give you little more insight into as to how the system is going to work, I am just confining myself to just one specialization, that too automobile sector. Within automobile I am confining myself to engine testing. Now, if a person is aiming at becoming engine testing expert, then what all vocational subject one has to study, what would be the scheme of study, and as to how this person is going to move from lowest level of skill to the highest level of skill. So, here at certificate level 1, as I mentioned earlier, so vocational inputs are going to be inbuilt in the routine school system, thereafter in polytechnic system or in university degree system. So, here contents are divided in 2 parts, one is your vocational contents, the other one is conventional academic inputs which a student has to study. So, under vocational stream, here the student studies this thing usage of tools, different type of tools, and for that this fellow is given 10 hours. Then two-wheeler engine, then scooter, then complete engine stripping, motorcycle engine, reassembly of engine. So, all these will be spread over 100 hours. Then two-wheeler general vehicle service, 19 hours are going to be devoted on that, and that is how this total of vocational contents adds up to 200. Now, when it comes to subjects of study, this student along with this vocational subject is going to study 2 of the languages, and both the languages will be spread over 140 hours. So, language 1 140 hours, language 2 another 140 hours. This student has to study mathematics, then science and social science. So far as science and social sciences are concerned, these are of 180 hours duration each. This total works out to 780 hours. So, this student is required to study for 780 hours of academic inputs and 200 hours of vocational input. That is how the grand total works out to 980 hours. Now, having completed level 1, this person now moves on to level 2 of skill. Now, when it comes to level 2, here again another 10 hours are given for tool usage, then 3-wheeler engine. Now, in place of 2-wheeler, now it is 3-wheeler engine, then 3-wheeler engine petrol, then complete engine stripping, diesel, then diesel engine reassembly. Then this person should be capable of altering the fuel and remounting on vehicle. So, 140 hours are going to be devoted on that. Another 100 hours are going to be devoted on 3-wheeler general vehicle routine maintenance, check service, then routine repairs, then electricals, controls, etc. So, 100 hours are going to be devoted on that. And as regards academic input, so again this fellow is going to study language 1, language 2, for 140 hours each, mathematics another 140 hours, and thereafter science and social sciences 180 hours, 180 hours, total works out to 780, and 250 of vocational content. So, here the total works out to 1030 hours. So, this course compared to level 1 is 50 hours over and above what the person has studied at level 1. Now, moving on to level 3. At level 3, tool uses another 10 hours. Then from three-wheeler, now the person moves on to four-wheeler. Four-wheeler engine dismantling from vehicle, 150 hours are to be devoted here. 120 hours for altering fuel, then engine peripherals like HV, AC, etc. 120 hours. So, this another 70 hours for engine controls, fuel injector, equipment, sensors, etc. So, this total works out to 350. So, at level 3, the student is going to be given 350 hours of vocational content, and when it comes to academic stream, so here again language 1 and language 2, but now at level 3. So, rather than 140 hours, it has been reduced to 120 hours, both languages 120 hours each. Then any three of the following subjects, there are large number of subjects mentioned here, but the student is required to pick up only three of these below mentioned courses, and the courses includes mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, then biotechnology, engineering, graphics, agriculture, computer science, informatics, practices, then multimedia and web technology. All these papers are of 150 hours each, and the total of academic subjects works out to 690. Vocational and academics taken together, so total inputs would be of a duration of 1040 hours. Now, the person moves on to level 4. At level 4, multi utility vehicle, sports utility vehicle, then LCVs, dismantling of vehicle. So, this has been given 150 hours. Then alter fuels, then engine peripherals like HVAC, alternators, vacuum pump, steering pump, etc. 100 hours, and then air intake system, exhaust system, cooling system, catcon and oxycat, etc. So, this works out to 100 hours. Engine then engine controls, fuel injector, equipment, sensors, etc. another 100 hours. So, total works out to 350 hours. And in terms of academics, so this student is going to study two of the languages, language 1 and language 2, then any three of the following subjects. These subjects include mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and thereafter biotechnology, engineering, graphics, agriculture, computer science, informatics, practices, multimedia and web designing. So, three subjects. So, this total works out to 690, and total would work out to 1040 hours. Now, let us move on to level 5. At level 5, what happens is, you will mark a difference here. At level 5, the student is no more required to study any languages now. Now, learning of languages is over, but then little more weightage has been given to vocational subjects. As regards vocational, the fellow studies say 200 hours of this thing, dismantling from vehicle. This is all about HCV, okay. Engine stripping, then reassembling, then remounting on vehicle, engine peripherals like HVAC, alternators, vacuum pump, steering pump, air intake system, etc. and then it goes on. Again it is all about HCVs, exhaust system, cooling system, oxycat, EGR, turbocharger, etc. So, 150 hours are going to be devoted here. Then HCV engine, engine controls, fuel injection, equipment, sensors, etc. another for 150 hours. So, this total will work out to 500 hours. As regards academics, as I have already mentioned, now no more languages here. The fellow is supposed to pick up three of these following subjects. Good number of subjects are mentioned here: mathematics, physics, chemistry, computer science, applied science, botany, zoology, biotechnology, microbiology, electronics, then the list out of these any 3 subjects are to be picked up, and because each subject would involve 180 hours. So, 3 subject means 540 hours, that is the total duration. So, 540 hours here and another 500 hours of vocational inputs. So, total works out to 1040 hours here at level 5. At level 6, engine testing, mounting on dynamometer etc. So, 50 hours are going to be involved here. I am talking about vocational content here. Another 50 hours on all types of engines, that means test, bench, dyno control etc. Then general performance test etc. another 50 hours, and general durability tests for 150 hours. Then this person at level 6 need to study general instrumentation for 75 hours, data collection / transfer 75 hours, troubleshooting 50 hours has been awarded to that, diagnostics etc. another 50 hours. So, total of all these vocational hours works out to 550. And as regards academics, so now from 3, when we were talking about level 5, the fellow was supposed to study 3 subjects. Now, the subjects have been reduced to 2. He or she needs to study only 2 of the following subjects: mathematics, physics, chemistry, computer science, applied statistics, botany, zoology, and then biotechnology, microbiology, electronics etc. And each subject will involve 250 hours, 2 subject means 500 hours. So, 500 hours of subjects and 500 hours of vocational inputs. So, total works out to 1050 hours. Now, when it comes to level 7, here vocational inputs further go up, and for about 100 hours advanced engine, instrumentation etc. is going to be taught. For another 100 hours testing and data acquisition equipment is going to be taught. Then for 550 hours, in fact 550 hours are going to be devoted on validation, simulation, test, special test, data collection, transient analysis etc. So, this all is going to involve 550 hours, and this total of vocational contents works out to 750 hours. As regards general stream, conventional subjects, now here this student need to study just one paper out of the following, and this paper will involve 300 hours of instructions. So, subjects include mathematics, physics, chemistry, applied statistics, botany, zoology, then biochemistry, microbiology, electronics. So, 300 hours get devoted over here. So, 300 hours of subject studies and 750 hours of vocational content. So, total works out to 1050 hours. So, that completes level 7, and this is how the transition is going to take place from lowest level of skill to the highest level of skill, and in this case highest level of skill is level 7. So, the person then becomes engine testing specialist. Now, we have talked about what all the NVEQF aims at. We have also discussed what all qualifications are going to be awarded. We have also discussed the operational mechanism of this NVEQF, but when we are thinking of such a system, naturally there are going to be large number of problems and challenges. So, I would just briefly discuss with you the challenges in operationalizing the NVEQF. Here the very first challenge is sector council skills have not yet been set up by National Skill Development Corporation for all sectors. In fact, right now we do not know in exactly how many sector Indian economy is going to be divided. That is the first hurdle, and then whatever sectors have been identified so far. So, sector specific skill councils have not yet been identified, and unless we have these sector specific skill councils in place, so national occupational standards cannot be worked out. So, we are operating right now without national occupational standards and without sector specific councils for all sectors. Of course, for some of the sectors NSDC has already constituted sector specific councils. So, these are two challenges. Then the other challenges include complete plan for transitions from level 1 to the highest level of skill not yet available. Now, I have given some example in my presentation. I took example of a few sectors, but right now there are very few specializations planned. So, specializations need to be identified, and we need to be very clear about what all sectors we are going to have, what all kind of manpower we are going to need, and at what level the courses are going to be offered. So, this complete plan is missing right now. Then pathway for changeover from one stream to another stream. Now, philosophically speaking, this NVEQF provides pathway for changing from one stream to another. There are ways and means of vertical and horizontal mobility, but in practice these things are yet to happen, and we are yet to evolve the pathways for changing over from one stream to another. So, some more work need to be done here. Then bridge course is not yet made available. Naturally, when a person is shifting from one stream to another, so this person may have to undergo some bridge courses. So, what are these bridge courses, what all is being planned, that is not yet clear, and unless these bridge courses are evolved, so mobility is going to be difficult, particularly from one stream to another. Then exercise with regard to addition and deletion of subjects not yet carried out. Now, during my presentation I told you, as the person moves from lowest level of skill to the highest level of skill, one experience is this thing, increase in vocational inputs and decrease in academic inputs. Now, naturally, when some decrease has to take place in academic inputs and increase has to take place in vocational inputs, so naturally some subjects have to be deleted and some subjects have to be added. So, how this plan is going to work and what all subjects need to be deleted, what all subjects need to be added. So, this exercise also is yet to be completed. Then vocational education and training university has not yet been set up. In fact, when NVQ was announced and when it was planned, it was thought that either a national level university or state board of technical education, they would get involved in awarding qualification, but the university has not yet taken shape. So, university is yet to be set up. So, there is a bit of confusion with regard to ultimately who is going to award different type of qualifications. Then AICT yet to identify the skill knowledge providers. The role of skill knowledge provider is very, very important in implementation of national vocational qualification framework, and government is now in the process of identifying skill knowledge provider. Well, we got to see how is the response, but then unless we have sufficient number of skill knowledge provider identified, it might pose a hurdle in smooth implementation of NVEQF. Then changes required in recruitment rules. Now, if we have a look at our recruitment rules and you refer to different type of qualification which one need to have for getting into a particular job. So, those qualifications are different than the kind of qualifications which are being envisaged under NVEQF. So, the kind of qualifications which are proposed under NVEQF, these qualifications one day or the other we got to really include them in our recruitment rules and qualifications for different posts. This work also need to be done, otherwise it will pose a challenge, and unless we make these changes, courses may not really become much popular. And lastly, quality assurance agencies have not been set up to accredit the skill and skill knowledge provider. There has got to be some check so far as this thing skill knowledge providers are concerned. So, even that system is yet to be evolved, and we got to have at least some accreditation process established for this. So, these were some of the challenges, but I am sure these challenges as we advance in this NVEQF, slowly and slowly we will be in a position to overcome these challenges, and we can hope for better days ahead. And I am sure if the proposed national vocational education qualification framework gets implemented and if we are in a position to maintain quality, it will do a lot of good to our masses and to the Indian economy. So, with that we conclude this session on national vocational education qualification framework. Thank you very much, In case you have any question, you can pose your queries and your questions now. Thank you.